A ceremony took place for members of staff from the Contact Tracing Bureau to receive awards that recognise their work during the pandemic.
Frontline workers in health, GHA, ERS and the emergency services have had well-deserved recognition already from the community in past months, but it is important to acknowledge the efforts of those not visibly on the front line, who were nevertheless essential in our fight against COVID, a fight that was largely successful, except of course that we lost so many of our beloved, most vulnerable in those tragic months of the winter of 2020-2021.
The former Health Minister, Samantha Sacramento, highlighted the difficulties these individuals will have faced in manning those phones.
You were in the front line, having to make those difficult calls, having to inform people that they were positive, particularly at the beginning when it was so scary and it was so difficult to communicate that. But you did it so well, and you cared so much for people. You called individuals who were positive on a daily basis. You followed up. You asked about their symptoms. You asked how they were feeling. You asked if they needed anything.
Those who worked in the Bureau during the last 2 years will have spoken to so many of us in the community at difficult times.
Say a particular thank you to whoever it was that rang me the first time I got it. A particular thank you to the person who rang me when Ollie got it and when Seb got it, for your kindness and for following up, and for that first time that I got it, calling me throughout the week to make sure that I was actually doing some bloody work from home and not just watching Netflix. Thank you also in particular to the person who called me the second time. I was having lunch with Sir Peter Caruana, who had to jump out of the room when I was told that I was COVID positive. You know, he and I are much closer now than we were when he was in frontline politics, but I did enjoy seeing the fear in his face then.
The Chief Minister said that being able to disband the Contact Tracing Bureau showed the best recognition of their successful work. He also highlighted the loss of life Gibraltar had faced, 101 people. He said that we didn't get it as right as we could, but as right as we were able to. Reflecting on the pandemic going forward, Dr. Carter said the focus was on the vulnerable now.
We have 5 or 6 people now working on the public health agenda, particularly related to COVID. Our strategy has changed very much from a blanket population level approach to very much supporting those who are vulnerable, and by that we mean those who are still potentially at risk of developing complications of COVID. So our role and function now is very much identifying people who are vulnerable, looking for outbreaks in vulnerable settings and managing those outbreaks.
A total of 100 members of staff received awards.
Jasmine Manjusef.